Landlord is threatening eviction because patio chairs have cloth cushion. I swear, as ridiculous as this sounds, this is not a troll post. I can attach redacted pictures of the non-compliance notices if needed. This is in Florida. I apologize if this ends up being long, as I wanted to include as much detail as possible. On October 2nd, we received the first notice of non-compliance, quoting this section of our lease that says, "The apartment and other areas reserved for your private use must be kept clean and free of trash, garbage, and other debris. You agree to keep all passageways and common areas free of obstructions such as trash, storage items, and all forms of personal property." We were given 7 days to rectify it. At first I thought they were referring to some trash bags. I had done a massive cleaning of the apartment, including dumping the litter boxes, and set the trash outside to take to the dumpster. My husband was bedbound with an injury, so between caring for him and taking him to the ER 3 times, taking care of our son, myself, and working, it took maybe 3 days for me to get the trash to the dumpster. That was absolutely my fault, of course. So I cleaned up the trash and figured that would be the end of it. October 9th comes and goes and not a word from the office. Well, yesterday, October 16th, we get a second notice of non-compliance reiterating the same passage as before and saying, "We have 7 days to fix it or they'll terminate the lease and evict us." It also says if a violation occurs again with 12 months, they'll terminate and evict. So I email our leasing agent asking her to clarify what the violation is, and she responds that because the chairs on our patio have cloth, they're not patio furniture and violate our lease. For reference, our chairs are bamboo swivel bar stools with a floral seat cushion. Very tiki bar vibe. It's also worth mentioning we've lived in this unit and have had the chairs out there since June 2019. The property manager has been by multiple times for maintenance, inspections, repairs, etc., and never said anything. So I guess my questions are: 1. Are they really allowed to regulate what constitutes patio furniture? 2. What are the legalities of this situation in general? How enforceable is this? Can they really evict us because our patio chairs have cloth? 3. If this does end up on court for whatever reason, how likely is it that a judge is gonna rule in the landlord's favor? This is so mind-blowingly stupid that I don't even know how to proceed. Check your lease. If it doesn't specify what constitutes patio furniture in their minds, they have no leg to stand on. I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. I am not admitted in Florida, and this is legal information, not advice. I strongly recommend that you speak to a lawyer who does eviction defense, landlord-tenant issues. You can hire someone privately or speak to a legal aid organization in your area. 1. It is possible that they can regulate what patio furniture is and if you may have it on your patio. And you should first check your lease to see if that's listed somewhere there. 2. I do think that, as it sounds, they're trying to say that your chairs are trash or other debris. It sounds like your patio is a private area rather than a common area, which would not be a violation of the lease. Point 3. However, that does not mean that a good lawyer couldn't persuasively argue otherwise to a judge. So again, I suggest speaking to one yourself. I will say this sounds like them grasping at straws to remove you from the property for some reason. Possibly because they are trying to free up space for new rentals. One weird thought I had while reading this is whether or not they'd allow the chairs if they didn't have the cushions on them. Like if the cushions were removed when not in use and brought outside only when you plan to sit on the chairs. But that's an argument for you to speak to a lawyer about. Are you renting from a single owner of the apartment condo? Or from the complex itself? I was thinking if from a single owner of a condo, your apartment might be subject to NWA. Maybe in your lease it might say something like abide by all WA rules or something similar. If so, you need a copy of those. If not, ignore my message. First, go over the leasing agent to the property manager. If the manager isn't understanding, ask for the regional property manager. That is the system they should have in place. If you do not want to do that, I recommend having a lawyer on standby to be the intermediary for you. Important info left out from up. Is he current on his rent payments? Reason being is, in light of the CDC eviction moratorium, LLs are looking for reasons other than non-payment to file for eviction, as lease defaults other than non-payment are not protected by CDC. I suspect more than anything else that the LL is somehow using the cited reason as a pretext to evict and avoid touching the CDC moratorium. My city has a property standards bylaw that prevents indoor furniture from being placed outside. Mostly it's to keep people from putting couches or kitchen tables on their porches. Those who violate the bylaw can be given hefty fines if they don't remove the offending furniture. Even if your lease doesn't have anything specific, perhaps your area has similar bylaw. Former leasing agent here. I used to work for a manager who was absolutely ridiculous and would try to evict people just because she didn't like their pets. Go to the rental office and ask them to go over the lease with you again. Ask them to specifically point out which section you are violating. If it's a bogus complaint, then they won't be able to show you anything. If they do reference a specific section, then get that in writing and take it with you to a lawyer. Are they really allowed to regulate what constitutes patio furniture? What does your lease say about patio furniture? What are the legalities of this situation in general? Depends on what your lease says about violations in furniture. If this does end up on court for whatever reason, how likely is it that a judge is gonna rule in the landlord's favor? No one here has any way to know this.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.